Welcome you all in this educational video of NIOS. This is subject Environmental Science. Code number for this subject is 333. This video is for senior secondary level. We are doing lesson number 4 and topic of the lesson is Principles of Ecology. This is the sign name of the lesson. In this lesson, we will understand all the principles which comes under this ecology system. This video is part 1. These words are taken from the lesson number 4 of the EVS book. This word is larva. Larvas are the minute microorganisms. They are the living organisms. These microorganisms are sometimes found in our food items. Sometimes they are too small that they cannot be seen with our naked eyes, and sometimes they are not that much small, they can be seen with our eyes. And their physical structure is just like this picture image that you can see. So there are different varieties of larvae. Mineral. There are various minerals which are found on earth. You must have known about the coal. Coal is also a kind of item which is found under the earth. And beside coal, there are other minerals which are found in the earth. Few names are on the screen like phosphorus, nitrogen, iron, zinc, aluminium, etc. There are so many minerals which are found in the earth. How do they come in the earth? With the formation of fossil fuel inside the earth, which was formed because of long time the dead remains of the animals and plants, they were under the earth for a long time, and slowly they converted into fossil fuel and some other materials, and mineral is one of them. Also metals are found on the earth, inside the earth. We know that we use metal for so many things. Moisture. We all know that sometimes the air also has moisture in it. Like during rainy season, we feel moisture in the air. And also whenever we buy biscuits from the market, and in case if they are kept outside in open air, then within few hours those biscuits also become damped. Means they absorb water from the air and moisture. Adapt and adaptation. Both these words are having a similar meaning. In the slide you can see the image of a camel. You know the camel is adapted to the desert, to the place where there is less water and high temperature, but camel is adapted to that place. Another image is of the bear, which is white color bear. That white color bear is also adapted to the cold place. If we go to the cold place, then we would not be fit enough, or we would not be able to make the necessary adjustment. Or if any other animal go to the similar kind of cold place, then it would be difficult for us. But for that polar bear, that cold place is adapted. And similarly, there is adaptation with the natural environment of the panda. That is the third animal. All the animals you must have seen, all the wild animals generally they have the outer skin has more hairs, so they have a furry body. And you must have seen some items which we use in our daily life like bags or other items, so they also have some fur from those animals. Vegetation. Vegetation, plants can be long or short. So this word is used for all kinds of plants. Genetic. You may have read somewhere, or you may be aware about the DNA. This is the genetic structure of the basic cell which is inside the body of any human or any plant or any living organism. We all are made up of cells, and all cells have this genetic structure. There are two images on the screen. The first is deciduous, that is a kind of plant. Deciduous plants are those plants which shed their leaves in a season. And there is another image on the right side, that is of evergreen plant. They remain green all over the year. Geological. These are the inside structure of the earth. Interact. During interaction, generally we need two people so that we can communicate with the other person. So, two or more people are required for the interaction. In our environment also we interact with the other organisms. That organism may be plant, may be animal, may be any living organism. So this interaction may be between a person and between any other resource or a material. So for that, this interact word has been used in this lesson. That interaction may be between a human and a plant, maybe between a plant and an animal. Physical. All those things which we can touch and hold, all those materials are known as physical. This word is science. Scientific. So both are having similar meaning. The deep study or detailed study in a logical manner is known as science. Mutate. This is connected with the word genetic. Few words before we had shown you an image of the word genetic. So this mutate word is similar to the, or just another explanation of the genetic word. For example, we have a white flower and a plant has a white flower, and we also have another flower which has a red color. So if we try to make some modification with a red and green plant all together, we take some part of the red flower and take some part of the white flower, and together we mutate and make a new thing. So we use this word for that work, mutate. Offspring. This is generally used for the babies. The next generation small organisms, they are the offspring. All living creatures have offspring. They may be fish, they may be human, they may be any animal. So for them we use this word, offspring. Variation in birds. If you see the faces of the birds carefully, you will notice that all the birds are having some variation in terms of size, in terms of their beaks, nose, eyes, shape. So they all are different. So far we have understood the difficult words from the lesson. Now let us see the objectives of this lesson. The first objective of this lesson is to define and understand the term ecology. The next objective is to explain the relationship between organism and its habitat with a special mention of the human species. The next objective is we will be able to recognize the level of ecological organizations from organisms to the population, community, ecosystem, biome and biosphere. We will understand all the levels of the ecological organization. There are few different levels that we will discuss. The next objective is we will be able to differentiate between habitat and niche. And the next objective is we will be able to describe the concept of species. So we will cover all these objectives in this lesson. If we try to understand the meaning of ecology in simple words, we will define it as the interrelated relationship of an organism with biotic and abiotic factors of the environment. So what is the meaning of biotic and abiotic factors? We all know that in our community we find so many things or so many resources which have some life, like animals, plants, and also there are some resources which do not have life, like sun, air, water, temperature. They don't have life, they don't breathe, and they don't live further. So the interrelated relationship of the biotic and the abiotic factors in the environment, that interrelation is known as ecology. Let us now understand the concept of ecology. The term ecology, this word was first coined in the year 1869 by the German biologist. His name was Ernst Haeckel. He was from Germany. And this word ecology has been derived from the Greek words. If we see the word ecos, it means home or estate. And the second part is logos. Logos means study. So this word came, ecology. This ecology word may be defined as the scientific study of the relationship of living organisms with each other and with their environment. The next point explains that the emphasis is on the relationship between the organism and the components of the environment. So those organisms would be biotic and the components of the environment would be abiotic, means non-living. In our environment, we feel so many things like air, sometimes the temperature is high, sometimes temperature is low. So these are all the abiotic factors in the environment. Let us now understand the ecological level of organization. Ecological level of organization spectrum, emphasizing the interaction of living and non-living components, leading to the formation of system at each level. Let me explain this with an example. A community has biotic and non-biotic components both, so they both make an ecosystem. So that is why biotic and abiotic, both factors are important. Let us take a break here.
प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने,
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने, जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने।
धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो, धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो,
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो,
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो,
मित्रों हम उठे और जागे,
मंजिल आने की ध्वनि सुने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने,
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने।
राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालय का है द्वार खुला सबकी बातें, शिक्षा परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर,
शिक्षा परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर दुनिया में इसके केंद्र बात,
कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने, कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने,
So now let us understand the different levels of organization from individual to the biosphere level in nature. You can see the slide on the screen. You can see all the names of the level. The first level name is individual, and the next level is population. That is in general for all the species, that word is used. And the third level is community. The next level, which is the fourth level, that is ecosystem. Then the fifth level is the biome. The sixth level is the biosphere. So we will understand all these levels in detail. So we have understood the names of the levels of ecological organization. The first level, that is at the individual level, or you can say the organism level, that defines the basic unit of study. And the second level is the population, that defines the group of organisms consisting of a number of different populations that live in defined area or fixed place and interact with each other. The third level is the community. It defines a group of organisms consisting of a number of different species that live in an area and interact with each other. The next is the fourth level. It is ecosystem. This is also important. It defines the communities of organisms and their physical environment interacting as an ecological unit. It explains how the different physical environment interact with the living ecological units. The fifth level is the biome. It defines a large community unit which is characterized by a major vegetation type and associated fauna found in a specific climatic region is a biome. And biome refers basically to terrestrial areas. The sixth level is the top level, which is biosphere. It defines the study of human activities affecting the earth, like global climate, ozone hole, etc. How both are linked. Let us now understand about the habitat and the organism. Habitat is the physical environment in which an organism lives. We already understood about this environment, physical environments. And each organism has particular requirements for its survival and lives where the environment provides for those needs. That is water, food or shelters. All these are the basic needs. The features of the habitat can be represented by its structural components, namely the four structural components are there. The first is space, the second is food, the third is water, and fourth is shelter. So all these four factors are important. And Earth has four major habitats. The first is terrestrial, the second is fresh water, the third is eusterine, fourth is ocean. This is in continuation of the previous slide. A habitat may support many different species having similar requirements. For example, a single ocean habitat may support a whale, a seahorse, a seal, phytoplankton, and many other kinds of organisms. So the habitats support all those species. Let's now understand the niche and organism. In nature, many species occupy the same habitat, but they all perform different functions. The functional characteristics of a species in its habitat is named as niche in that common habitat. Let us understand it further in detail. A niche is unique for a species while many species share the habitat. And no two species in a habitat can have the same niche. This is because if two species occupy the same niche, they will compete with one another until one is displaced. Different species. Habitat, the address or home of an organism. That is the place where it lives. I will explain you with an example. Niche is an occupation of an organism in its community. In this, tree is a habitat of several insects, whereas each insect has different niche. Lace bugs occupy top of the canopy tree. Moth larvae feed on the shoots. Serpentine leaf miners require surface of the leaf for feeding. And the white grub's trophic niche is the root of the tree. So all these organisms need their own place on a tree only. Some organisms are on the top, some are on the middle, some are on the lower portion of the tree. So the moth larva is in the middle part of the tree. And you can see the third image, that is white grubs, that is on the right corner image, that love to be on the root side, or you can say the soil. So with this example we can understand that niche is an occupation of an organism in its community, one habitat having different places inside it. So the term niche means the sum of all the activities and relationships of a species by which it uses the resources as its habitat for its survival and reproduction. Let us understand with another example. It is the vegetation of forest. In a forest we can see all types of plants. Some are very tall, some are not that much tall, some are thorny, some need sunshine. Tall trees, short trees, shrubs, bushes and grass, all are the parts of a forest, but occupy the different heights, so they differ in their requirement for sunlight and nutrients. And the most important resource in the niche of animal are food and shelter, while that for plant is moisture and nutrients like phosphorus and nitrogen. Let us now understand another term, adaptation. An adaptation is thus the appearance or behavior or structure or mode of life of an organism that allows it to survive in a particular environment. Desert animals have their body above the ground by having long legs. So that is the reason they can walk easily on the sand. So their body is adapted according to the environment. So basic adaptations help animals and plants to survive in their respective environment. For example, if a camel is placed to a city or any other place, then in a long term that would be very difficult for the camel to survive for a long time because the body is not adapted to that place. Some examples of basic adaptations are: for aquatic adaptations, we know that fishes have gills and fins. So with this they can breathe in the water, like we humans cannot breathe in water, but fishes can easily breathe using the help of gills and fins in the fish because they have different body structure. And in aquatic flowering plants, the absence of wood formation is highly reduced. Root systems are for adaptations. So in aquatic flowering plants, you see they are very soft and flexible. So adaptations can be observed in structure and behavior or in physiology of an organisms. All these have been produced, and adaptations have also a genetic basis. And that is the reason that adaptations have developed over many generations to help a species survive successfully in the environment. Now here we can see how birds are adapted. The first point explains that the shape of the bird's beak helps the bird to be adapted in the environment. All the birds have different beaks, and also the thickness or thinness of the fur in the body, you can see according to the environment the fur is different. And also the presence of feathers and wings in bird is also different. It is natural in nature. And if we see the adaptation in other plants, we can see that there are some evergreen plants and some deciduous plants in the nature. That is also natural in the environment. Another point is there is presence or absence of thorns on the leaves and stem of the plant. Some plants have thorns and some plants don't have thorns. This is also because of some reasons. Let us now understand the word species. A species is defined as a group of similar population of organisms whose members are capable of interbreeding and to produce fertile offspring. Or you can also say to produce fertile children. There are some more examples like a tiger, a lion, a lotus, and a rose. These are all examples of different species. So every species has a different structure and different need according to the environment, and same way different names, scientific names are given, and their details are also understood by people all over the world in a similar manner. Humans belong to a species of Homo sapiens, and only members of the same species can interbreed to produce fertile offspring. Because every species has its own set of genetic characteristics that makes the species unique and different from other species. There is variation in animals. As we can see, the difference in color of skin, type of hair, curly or straight, eye color, and blood type among different ethnic groups represent variation within human species. So similarly, different shapes and size of cows, dogs, and cats, etc. are examples of variations within each of these species. In a similar way, there is variation in plants. In plants, we can see that some are tall and some are short, and also various shape and size of brinjals exhibit among these plant species. You can see the image on the screen. The brinjals are also of different shapes and size. They are all brinjals, but their appearance is different. They have different size and structure. So you can see the different variations in one vegetable brinjal. And similarly, variations are produced as a result of chance mutation. And also, the competition and natural selection determines that as to which variation will succeed and which will survive. So there are many variations, and those variations that enable the species to survive in the struggle for existence are encouraged and promoted. And in plants, one can observe wide variation in size and shape of mangoes and brinjals. just like example of brinjal we have seen. Similarly, there are different kinds of mangoes available. Their taste is similar, but taste also has some variation. So we have covered this lesson, and we talked about the species, animals, plant, variation, and the habitat. I hope all these points would be clear. We also discussed the level of biosphere, all the different levels we discussed. Thank you. Namaskar.